Black Americans, indigenous Americans, American Indians. It is I, cannot await TikTok's borders are the fifth great grandson of Nat Turner, one of the greatest freedom fighters of all time. Listen, we got to talk about Mona Leo being on Deontay Kyle's podcast, talking about Solon, talking about Pan-Africanism. We need to talk about identity. Now, when we talk about identity, we have to start off by knowing who we're talking to, because that's very important. So a little bit about me. I identify as an indigenous American, American Indian. I use the term Black American with Black Americans only. You understand what I'm saying? I am not bi-ethnic. I'm not bi-cultural. I am not biracial. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now listen, African Americans can be Black Americans, but Black Americans aren't all African American. African American was popularized in 1988 by Jesse Jackson. African American was officially put on the USA Census nationwide year 2000. You understand what I'm saying? So listen, there's nothing wrong with Pan-Africanism, but the problem arises that Mona Leo and Dante Kyle, they may be undermining a group of people consciously or subconsciously. Now, listen, I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, minor in psychology, master's degree in communication media with a specialization in public relations. I don't mince my words. I mean exactly what I say. Now, listen, all Black Americans don't see eye to eye when it comes to these terms, Solon, FBA, and ADOS. But this is what you need to know. This is what you got to understand. These terms, Solon, FBA, and ADOS, were all created to delineate breaking away from Pan-Africanism, breaking away from this fake African diaspora or the Black diaspora around the world. The reasoning, because they need reparations, restorative justice, specific policies for the lineage, birthrights. You claim these things lawfully by way of lineage. So there is no unity and utopia because so-called Black Americans, and we know who Black Americans are, we don't have to play all those games. Black Americans were not made a protected class in the United States of America, the variable that Black Americans built and were already over here pre-slavery and colonization. Therefore, other Black presenting people around the world, whether they're continental Africans or Caribbeans, can come here and cosplay. We've seen a lot of them saying that they're Black American or African American, which are nuanced lineage ethnic groups. You understand what I'm saying? Solon, FBA, and ADOS were created to delineate. So if you are a Black American or African American taking on the names of these three groups, and you're talking about unity and Pan-Africanism, you are in direct violation of the movement and the mission. Now, I want to also talk about indigenous Americans, American Indians, who are also not Pan-African and not with all that shit either. I support all groups that are delineating because you paved the way for everyone to benefit. None of our ancestors, especially Nat Turner, would have never imagined that people who are Black presenting, or even other immigrants who are POC, would come to our variable and talk against us and undermine us and disrespect us, get in places of power, vote against reparations, not hire Black Americans, say pull yourself up by the bootstraps. We came here with nothing, why can't you? But however, we know, we have exposed that many immigrants, including Black immigrants, come here with some type of government assistance. Go peruse through my page. Spread this video around to the powers that be. Save it, favor it, like it, share it, because we have to talk about it. Let's get into Mona Leo and Deontay Kyle being disingenuous.
Listen, I'm gonna say this about the sexy salon though. So I love the way you approached it, right? Okay. I love how you tailored it to yourself with the pink Black American Heritage flag. But I also love the fact that you included all the flags throughout the diaspora. Okay. I think the thing that I don't like about FBA and ADOS is it seeks to isolate us as African Americans, as people who are descendants of slaves. Because Solon is actually in that same lineage, like it's the same textbook definition. People who are indigenous descendants of slaves, specifically in America, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But without the segregation. It's an inclusion, right? There's a soul, it's a whole thing,
and it
right?
dates back to the 60s, 1960s, during the Black Panther movement.
Correct.
Soul food, soul train, soul people.
That part, right?
That whole thing. But I noticed that there's some revisions being made, and there's these borders being put up around that term.
Yeah, but you can't change. Okay, hold on, let's do something real quick.
Clarify.
If we're gonna really do knowledge, you can't read. You don't be a cracker. Okay, you can't change the meaning of things. The men who created this term made it with intention about people who are African American, descendants of slaves, Black American descendants of slaves that have a culture that is rich here in America based off the movement of your soul. Okay? So you niggas not redefining that. Okay? I think the most important thing about being a Black American is with the global presence that we have in our culture, with the copycatting that happens in our culture, with the denial of our culture, it's up to us to morally take a high road when it comes to certain shit. So like being xenophobic doesn't help anybody, right?
No.
Being exclusionary of other cultures throughout the diaspora, even if sometimes y'all do that to us, that ain't our role.
It's not our role.
Because I'm not combating hate with other black people.
Absolutely not. It's not our agenda.
I'll go fuck Europe every day.
What you mean?
I don't even fuck with black Brits for real. Like,
Yeah.
No,
real
fuck the
way.
Brits.
But the black Scots,
Yeah, we fuck with
my
them.
dog.
Yeah.
We locked in.
Fuck the redcoats.
Yeah, fuck them, nigga.
Yeah. Fuck them.
The British are coming.
Yeah, fuck them.
What's that nigga named Paul Revere?
Yeah, Paul Revere. Yeah, fuck him.
He was trying to put you niggas down.
Yeah.
He was putting you on. The British are coming, nigga. Them the only people, them the only blacks I don't fuck with.
Okay.
British blacks. You a little too close to the colonization. Yeah. You a little too close to it.
Okay.
You where it started. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say this. The way that you were intentionally very inclusive is what we need to do, especially like people that are going to be leading the next generations. You know what I'm saying? I represent a millennial, you represent Gen Z.
Yep.
But it's important for us to push a connected diaspora and not a separated one.
I agree.
It's a lot of times the older millennials, sometimes it be millennials, period. And then sometimes it be them Gen Xers that be pushing from all cultures this like segregated blackness. I don't fuck with that. We not fucking with that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever.
If we not connected, what is the difference?
Yeah.
Besides a boat stop, what is the difference?
What's the difference?
Because
when
you can see
when the police pull us over,
listen.
are they asking? Are you Jamaican?
If everybody,
You Haitian?
they ain't asking none of that.
They're not asking that.
You think them ICE agents asking that? You
No.
think they asking that?
Look what the fuck they just did in Chicago.
Okay, you did.
This week.
You think they cared about if the niggas was
They
Haitian
didn't
or
give a fuck if
Jamaican?
they was immigrants or not.
They didn't care.
It was just like fuck y'all. Everybody black, fuck y'all.
Okay,
That's how I felt.
So I'm on that same timing though. I don't care.
I need us to lock in.
I don't care nothing about.
Focus.
I don't care nothing about what been said about me. I don't care nothing about what we done said about you. You gotta lock the fuck in because the thing is like you can see the similarities in the cuisine. You can see the similarities in dance. Every Caribbean folk, they got their own patois. Like they got their own way they putting that shit
Their
down.
own little flair.
The same way like a
Their
nigga.
own lingo. They own lingo.
They got their own lingo. The same way a nigga in Houston don't talk like a nigga from Atlanta. Don't talk like a nigga from Birmingham. Don't talk like a nigga from
Louisiana,
Charlotte.
Florida.
It's a diaspora, nigga.
We got our own things
These
going
white
on.
folks spread us out.
And we can appreciate that. I
But
feel
we
like.
are connected.
We are.
Nigga, the flags be fire. These some 5 flags.
Very
really doing that
intricate.
one.
Very
You could
intricate.
tell, you know what I'm saying?
The design be so goddamn.
You can have my tell Susan B. Anthony.
Hey, yo.
You can have my tell, like.
You can tell Susan B. Anthony's son?
Yeah, cause like that African American heritage flag, like the Black American heritage flag,
yeah.
that shit look like some nigga shit.
Yeah,
That shit
it
hard.
do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that xenophobia, we're gonna keep that where it's at. Cause if we don't connect with each other,
Wait, what's Susan B. Anthony got to do with the Black American?
nothing.
Nothing at all.
She got something to do with the American.
The American
flag.
flag.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. You see the difference between the American flag. And,
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Do the knowledge.
I put you down.
Yeah.
Shout out Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson for creating the Black American heritage flag.
Shout out to y'all, bro.
We got some drill. We got some real fire shit.
No, that shit
to
hard,
represent
bro.
us.
That shit gangster.
It just fly.
I'm putting it out in front of my house.
Now, we have a lot to unpack. Firstly, Solon does not mean African American. The 2 A's does not mean African American in Solon. It means autochthonous American, which is indigenous to the land. You understand what I'm saying? So identity is very important. Both of their identities, Mona Leo and Deontay Kyle, your identities are important to you. Mona Leo, your identity was called into question. People were speculating that you were an immigrant or had immigrant background. You cleared that up. Deontay Kyle in the past has said that he is biracial. His mother is white, and we're assuming that his father is Black American, and also he was adopted. So you guys should know that we don't like misinformation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now look, Black Americans were never made a protected class. That's why the Black American Heritage Flag was created. That's why these groups are being created, because Black Americans want to become a protected class and not have immigrants and Black immigrants come to the variable that we built, that we paved the way for, take advantage of us and disrespect us. And even though, you know, they can be Black by default, they are not Black Americans. You understand what I'm saying? You guys are clearly Pan-African. You got to understand that. Now, look, don't be disingenuous. I've heard Deontay Kyle in the past say, I'm not familiar with all his content, but I have heard him say that Black Americans have a specific culture and that should be appreciated. When these other groups of people have their own cultural events, we are not centered. Therefore, they should not be centered in ours, such as Juneteenth and Essence Fest. Remember, the editors at Essence Fest said that they wanted to make Essence about global Blackness centered around Nigeria. That's not okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was watching Conscious Lee and Deontay Kyle refer to that Black American Heritage Flag as African American, but that flag was created before African American was popularized and was put officially on the USA Census year 2000 nationwide. So why do you guys keep calling that the African American Heritage Flag when it's specifically called the Black American Heritage Flag? Now look, Deontay Kyle was talking about FBA and ADOS. Now we already explained why it's important for these different subgroups of Black Americans to distinguish themselves from the pack. of people that may look similar, like us, but not like us. A lot of people use other words to describe these people who undermine Black Americans, because when Black Americans are delineating for restorative justice, specific policies for our lineage, birthrights, there should be no one interjecting with that, because we don't go to other lands doing that. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a two-way street. Everyone gets to come to the United States of America, and Black Americans are historically told by other groups of people that look like us that you have no culture. Where are you really from? Y'all know the disrespect. That's why you started talking about being a Solon and parading around with the Black American heritage flag, because you knew the need to be visible. You knew the need to be visible. Now, Mona Leo and Deontay Kyle, if you watch the whole podcast, it seems to me that they have did a little spinneroonie on what's going on, talking about people are attacking you, Mona Leo. That's not true. So you have to be accountable for what you do. These names are not cutesy. It's very political. These names are political. You understand what I'm saying? You, as a Black American, and all Black Americans, have the power of influence. We've seen a lot of Black immigrants saying that they are Solon, and they have no Black American lineage at all. So when you're around the block, on the internet, on these interviews, and you're becoming the face of Solon, people are going to think that what you say is gospel. And that's not the way it should be, and it's not the way it's going to be. There's a lot of hypocrisy here. Deontay Kyle said he doesn't mess with the UK Brits. That's very interesting. Is that Pan-African? Y'all got to understand, Pan-Africanism has misled a lot of people. If you go with that narrative of the transatlantic slave trade, Africans sold Africans into slavery of opposing tribes. Thus, they never viewed each other being the same based on the way they look. So when people are delineating from the narrative, saying that they are not the same, if you're going with that narrative of being African descent, when people are delineating, you guys think that they are breaking a moral code that never existed. That never existed. There is no utopia. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're creating a fantasy, a delusion that you want everyone else to live up to. If God couldn't fix Africa, what makes you think we could fix Africa? Africans fight each other today. Ghana is kicking out Nigerians left and right. So is South Africa. Haitians are being turned away from countries in Africa. Haitians are being turned away from Jamaica and other Caribbean lands. Haitians are arguing with Dominicans. Dominicans are arguing with Puerto Ricans. No one ever all got along based upon the way they look, even with indigenous Americans. A lot of indigenous tribes split and created different sectors. It's very normal for tribes to split when they do not share the same morals and beliefs. Don't be scared of that. All Black Americans are not Pan-African. You guys have a hard time understanding that when you're taking on titles such as Solon, FBA, and ADOS that directly is created for delineation against Africa and all Black people around the world, Pan-Africanism. Am I making sense? You got to understand that. Listen, it's a lot of hypocrisy going on. I want Mona Leo to know, I personally don't have anything against you, but if you guys are going to parade around this ignorance, calling yourself Solon, and talking against these movements that were created to delineate, you're doing it purposely. So when you say Mona Leo, you heard a lot of, P talk on the internet streets, and you said what you said, and people are weird because they don't want you to practice Pan-Africanism. You're totally wrong. You're a Black American. You're an African American. You're not Solon by the meaning. You understand what I'm saying? Now listen, one of the creators of Solon, he was on Brother Darbitt's page, an American Indian, indigenous American, and he was telling you what Solon is and what it isn't. And actually, the Solon creators, their page on TikTok follows me. So you guys got to stay clear. Be clear about what you're talking about, because we don't like mixed messaging. We don't like mixed messaging. We don't need that. We don't need the spread of misinformation. Everything is about lineage. Lineage matters. Let's see what Brother Marak said about what Solon is and what it isn't. Before we get to Brother Marak, as you can see on the website of Solon, it says Pan-Africanism is vampirism. Why Solon sovereignty cannot be collapsed into Black unity. So, by definition, Mona Leo and Deontay Kyle, you're wrong and you're underminers.
Oh, what's going on, David?
Not much, just chopping it up for real. Yeah, we have. If you want, you can introduce yourself, Barack. Let the people know who you are.
You put him on the big screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna put him on the big screen. Yeah, I'll put him on there.
Would you say let them know who I am?
Yeah, you introduce yourself. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Yes. My name is Marak. I am a co-creator of Solon. It's me, Dwayne Coleman, and T. Roy Parks. We created Solon just to find pride within ourselves, within our community, outside of trauma. We just didn't, one of the things that stood out to me more recently was I wanted to address, and I was probably going to touch on it with a question, I'm not sure, but recently, I don't know if you want to get into it now. I don't know if I'm skipping ahead or what.
You can you want it's your floor to address whatever you got to address.
Just one thing. If you got other questions, it's fine. I'm not really pressed on it like that. But so Ebony did recently do they just did an article on Solon, which I don't have a problem with because they did it with in reference to Mona Leo and stuff. And the only problem I had was the reading into the article of it and no reference to us, which is fine. But at least get Solon and what it means correctly. Ebony didn't get it correctly at all. All they talked about was the fact that we're former slaves and we're more than just your trauma porn. So I don't like that.
Corn. You gotta say corn.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of things you can't say.
Right.
I'll let you know as we go. Y'all some first in the chat, y'all.
Right. But we're not your trauma. And that's what I wanted to address, pretty much. It pretty much just said we were former slaves. That was pretty corny.
Yeah, so I actually want to ask you about that. So I keep saying people use it as a replacement for African American, and I'm pretty sure it means indigenous, right? Like the melanated indigenous people.
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely. It does mean that more specifically, the 2A stand for autochthonous American. So that would mean from the soil. Earth recognizes us here, and I mean that. I really do mean that Earth is sentient. Earth is alive. She is very much aware, and she recognizes us here. This soil recognizes us right here.
Okay, thank you, because I've seen some people saying that they're African descendants and they're using the term, and I'm trying to tell them what the actual meaning is, and they're laughing at me in the comments for some reason, basically saying the AA and Solon stands for African American.
If you see Saint, you can bring him up, King Solon. But
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I can bring him up.
This is me. They don't know my name by Saint, y'all. I'm probably.
oh, my bad.
I'm on here.
You're King. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I know who Prophet is. Yeah.
Right. I wanted to answer Venus. What would you say? I'm sorry.
So I was saying, because on TikTok, I'm seeing people identify as Solon, and they're like, Solon does not mean indigenous. We're not pretendians. And I'm just like, if you believe we're pretendians, why are you using the term? Because I'm pretty sure the creator said it means indigenous. And then they kept telling me that the AA and Solon means African American. So I did want you to clear that up so I could have the clips of you guys clearing it up.
Right, absolutely. Anybody want to clip it? Plain and simple, I had to say it earlier today because I'm getting so many questions from DMs to tagging on Twitter or being tagged on here on TikTok or Instagram or wherever. Plain and simple, Solon means you're not an immigrant. I don't know if that's like a sensitive word, but you're not an immigrant.
You can say immigrants. We call people immigrants all the time. You say immigrant.
I was basically telling them you can be mixed with African, but I don't think you can be Solon if you don't at least have some type of indigenous ancestry. Like you can't connect yourself to some type of tribe in the USA.
Right. I mean, yeah, you can be. The thing is this: we never denied the transatlantic slave trade, but what we do recognize is the fact that we were already, and I know that by evidence as well. See, I don't put too much stock. The problem is I feel like people put too much stock in what YT people have to say about our history, and I don't put too much stock in what they have to say. A lot of it has been inverted, so I don't really trust a lot of the things that they say. Not only that, like I said, I've already been spiritually awakened to what the truth is, and on top of the fact that if you were to research a lot of old world buildings, we had so many here. I'm from Philly. We had 200 alone that they destroyed in those world fairs. So if we had 200 alone in Philly, how much can you imagine was everywhere else? Every single city. I'm talking about all the way over in Oregon. I've seen them in Wyoming and San Francisco and New York and Louisiana. It's everywhere. You trying to tell me that a couple thousand slaves came over here and they built them all within less than 200 years? No. We were already here.
Exactly. That makes no sense.
And another